What's up, everybody? My name is Big Cam and welcome back to a Hot Toys 1/6 scale Marvel figure unboxing. And this one is a retired Hot Toy, meaning they're not still selling it on the website and it's a little bit harder to find. And my local comic book shop just bought a big collection of like action figures and some Hot Toys, and some of the ones that he had I couldn't pass up on. I was like, you know, it's a lot of money, but I don't care because there are two of the figures that I really want and a third that I just couldn't refuse, you know what I mean? And that third one that we're talking about, it will come next week with the other figure unboxing. But you can see over my shoulder, there's a new Sam Wilson Captain America Hot Toys unboxing that came out yesterday that is up on the channel now, so go check that out. But the figure we're talking about today, if you saw the title and thumbnail, is the Captain America from Captain America the First Avenger. And this one is referred to as the Star-Spangled Man. And if you guys remember, Star-Spangled Man with a plan. Who's got the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do? Selling bonds, punching Hitler, something something Captain America. If you guys know, you know. But you can see the front of the box there with the star, Captain America First Avengers, Hot Toys, movie masterpiece selection. It says Captain America Star-Spangled Man version on the side, limited edition collectible figure MMS 205. I don't know what that means, but maybe this is like the 205th figure they've made, and I think like the most recent ones are up into the thousands, so that could make sense. But sliding off the top of this box here, and ooh, actually a little bit of star logo design on the inside there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but kind of the same logo that's on the front of the box there. Captain America around the back, some of the people that made the figure and the cast and crew, and yeah, not a bad looking fig. But on the front here, Star-Spangled Man version, limited edition collectible figure. And then the description at the bottom reads, ineligible for the armed services due to his small stature and sickly disposition, the patriotic Steve Rogers instead volunteered for a top secret military experiment called Project Rebirth. Is that what it was called? Maybe. Recognized for his valor and strategic aptitude, Rogers was injected with the super soldier serum, which transfigured his cellular structure and transformed him into the perfect physical specimen. Heightened endurance, increased strength, and an indestructible vibranium shield gives Rogers an edge in combat. But it is his courage and unwavering dedication to the greater good that will shape him into an enduring symbol of freedom, Captain America. Nice little message there. But sliding off this little just faux cardboard cover, and you get a good look here at the figure himself. Now, let's pop off this lid and pull everything out of this box and take a closer look at Captain America, the Star-Spangled Man version. And honestly, this is maybe my second favorite Cap suit. You know, a lot of people say the Endgame, you know, the Brave New World. But in actuality, my favorite Captain America suits that made me buy into the character the most is from the Captain America First Avenger movie, and it's this suit from when he was like, you know, with the Rockette girls doing the kicks and shit, the cheerleaders, if you would, you know, the dancers, and he's going around doing like collecting bonds. He's being Captain America, the show pony, rather than the hero soldier. And once he gets to like the bomber jacket and like the helmet from one of the girls, he steals the A helmet, and he's still kind of got a gun, but he's got the shield. And like that Captain America, I think, is my favorite. But this just looks so comic book accurate and so like just the original Captain America. You know, the only thing that could make it better is if he had like scales like the comic book accurate Captain America did. And we've never really seen that look. Kind of a little bit in Avengers Endgame, but like the scaly blue outfit almost looks like chainmail armor like over him with like his little blue cap with the wings. You know, like we've never really gotten that look, but this is like the closest we've gotten to it. So let's pull everything out of this box and see what this figure comes with. Oh, right, we have Captain America from Captain America, the First Avenger, the first Captain America suit, I'll call him, laid out in front of us. All of his accessories. He comes with a, like,
war utility belt. It comes with a couple different pouches. It comes with an axe. I don't know if you can get that pouch unhooked to have him wielding the axe. Maybe if you want to bust that. Me personally, I didn't want to bust it because I knew I wouldn't have him holding the axe anyways. There is a holster for the pistol. We'll talk more about the pistol in a second. I haven't taken the plastic off of this, but this just seems like another leather strap, but I'm not sure what you'd use it for. And then you have a banderola with a bunch of different, you know, bullets for him to be able to use at some point, you know, or load his Tommy gun up if he needs to, because he also comes with a Tommy gun, and that is very cool, you know, classic mobster type stuff, you know, Al Capone Tommy gun type style. Valentine's Day Massacre type of Tommy gun. So I'm going to definitely be tossing that in his hands at some point. But talking about hands, he's got the shield gripping hand. He's got more of like a figure, maybe a shield gripping, but maybe also like a gun grip or maybe like a axe grip or one of those. Then he's got a couple of like trigger finger pulling, like, you know, actually out there, you know, shooting the trigger. You know, where that's kind of more of a hold, but that's definitely more of a trigger shooting, right? Me personally, yeah. And then he's got, you know, just kind of more of a casual, relaxed hand, and you can grip the shield with that, and just a fist in the other hand. Talking about this figure, though, let's take a closer look at him. Starting down with the base Captain America, the Star Spangled Man version. It says Captain America First Avengers. The nice detail on the boots, this like silk blue leggings into these terrible trunks with like this ratty belt and these same kind of gloves as the boots. Nice blue, you know, and red, white, and blue suit in the middle. And that head sculpt doesn't necessarily look like Chris Evans at all, but it does have the A, and it does have the goofy looking shape. It does have the little wings. You know, it does look a little oddly shaped underneath there, but it is what it is. I think it looks pretty damn good myself. And although it doesn't look like Chris Evans, it does, you know, capture this suit so perfectly in the shield, you know, like just such a classic look with this character and that shield. And it does come with some little papers that he can stick to the back of this, I believe, and that yellow thing maybe, you know, can peel off and it's sticky. But I wanted to see if I could see what these notes say. Yeah, I can't necessarily make out what they're saying, but it does look like the middle line in the middle reads Hitler or something. But yeah, and then maybe Hitler at the bottom. But you can't necessarily read these. They don't show up too clear on camera. But it looks like it's like Captain America's dialogue from his like play or whatever he was doing, his like promotional event to get people to buy bonds, you know, where he knocks out Adolf Hitler over 300 times, you know, or that type of thing. But I really do dig this figure. And I don't know if I will stick, you know, this piece of paper or like that little brown thing. I think you peel off this and then, you know, that little brown thing with a little one of these can stick onto the back of his shield there. Not sure why. I'm thinking that might have been, you know, movie accurate to do that. But let's trick out this Captain America with some accessories and see what we can't get him looking like in a couple of different poses. All right, so we have Captain America, this Star-Spangled Man version from Captain America, the First Avenger, spinning around on the turntable. He's got his shield with the stage notes taped to the back of it. I felt like that was proper, so I did that. And he's got a pointed gun down the frame, pointed directly towards us, but that, in my mind, is like a prop gun from this stage play of this Captain America before he goes fully equipped, military, battle ready, kicking in a door with the leg up and not too much articulation, but I wanted to show what this older figure was capable of, but also made it very prevalent that these older figures don't move as well as some of the newer ones do. And then third and finally, we have Cap fully decked out with his bullets around him, the leather strap, the Tommy gun, the axe on his waist, the pistol in the gun holster, the shield in the other hand. Yeah, I really, really dig the way this figure's looking, and now sitting here in front of us you know, with his foot up on the little Captain America plaque on the front. You know, just a little bit of, you know, not such a stable, you know, just standing there, standing still base. But I do love that he is tricked out with all this stuff, and, you know, it makes it look like, I like this suit just with nothing else, you know, like just by itself, like the stage version, just with the old style shield. But when you trick him out with all the military stuff, you remember that, like, this guy, that you remember the origin of going from this dancing monkey to the greatest soldier to ever live. You know what I mean? Like, sure, a lot of that has to do with the super soldier serum, but man, oh man, is Captain America always been and will always be one of my favorite characters. And, like, you know, it's funny because in real life I'm very not so much a Boy Scout, you know, like I'm very much so on the edgier side of things. But Captain America, for some reason, like, I just respect and love how good a guy he is, right? Like, he's not the bad guy. He's the guy that jumps on the grenade to save everybody else, you know, like, and at the very least, I can just respect the dedication to, you know, being the best and just, you know, being a great person, you know, and it's why Dr. Erskine picked him in the first place, right? Because the super soldier serum, you know, just brings out more of what you already are. So if you're an asshole, it just makes you more of an asshole. If you're an evil Red Skull, you know, it makes you even more evil. If you're John Walker, it makes you a little bit more of a prick, you know what I mean? Like, so I think Sam Wilson should take the Captain America serum at some point, and, you know, I think it shouldn't affect him poorly because he's a good man. But if anyone else was to do it, you know, it's maybe not such a easy, clean-cut decision, you know, where, like, Sam, I'm positive he'll be a good guy. But, you know, say Bucky, you know, took it after the Winter Soldier serum, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, double down, he might turn into, like, the Abomination, you know, because we also have to remember that the Hulk is also kind of a repercussion from trying to create the super soldier serum, you know, like, it's funny how many things in the MCU can get tied back to either Tony Stark or the super soldier serum, and, like, the Captain America super soldier trying to recreate it type of thing, you know what I mean? But two of my favorites and two of the biggest characters between Iron Man and Captain America. But I've talked enough about this suit. Let's toss him next to a couple other Captain Americas and do some figure comparisons. Oh, wow. Two of the older style figs, but you can just tell how much the bodies underneath these figures are different. Like, look at the shoulder width on the Avengers 2012 cap. And this is the older Avengers 2012. This isn't the 2.0 Avengers 2012 cap from Endgame, you know? Like, and you can see the old style base is kind of similar, and other than that, the figure is very much so different, you know, but you can see where its inspiration came from, you know, like the first Star Spangled Man outfit originally, you know, looking like this, eventually becomes the inspiration for this Avengers 2012 suit, you know what I mean? And I do love the old style shield, but something about the circle shield just always looks so damn good. Although this one's battle damaged, you know, and I like how clean and just kind of like stage ready that the Star Spangled Man Captain America is, but it is very, very cool to see the progression of these suits, and it's really going to make me get each one of these and maybe line them up on like a whole Captain America shelf with the first Captain America here, and then, you know, the progression into the bomber jacket, first Avenger, which I still need to get, and that one is probably my favorite Captain America outfit. But then he goes into Avengers 2012, and then he's got the Age of Ultron, and then from there, so on and so forth. You know, he's got the Civil War, which is pretty much this suit. He's got the Winter Soldier. He's got Infinity War. And this next version that I do have, which I can show you, is my next progression of Chris Evans' Captain America, and that would be Endgame. Wow, even more so than the last Avengers figure. This figure is even taller. Now, the hexagonal base is a little bit thicker, so that could be where the height's coming in, right? So this is the first Steve Rogers Captain America on the left, and then the last Steve Rogers Captain America on the right, you know? And Yeah, I mean, I love how his suit remains, you know, inspired with the star on the chest, the Avengers A, Captain America A on the helmet, you know, and sure, he's got a little bit of a scaly design, kind of like the comic book design on his chest and on that shoulder pad a little bit with the Avengers logo on his shoulder pad. But, you know, just this newer Captain America Avengers Endgame fig, it has the nicer base, a nicer crotch grabber. It's got more accessories. It's got more swap out hands. The hands swap out easier. You know, like the articulation's a little bit more sturdy with like an older figure like on the left. His legs, when you're, you know, playing with them and moving them around, they feel a little bit more floppy, where like, you know, I don't even think that Chris Evans needs that crotch grabber. Like that's just mostly there just for, you know, so he doesn't fall over, but I don't think he needs one at all. I think he would stand up just fine on his own. And, you know, it's certainly a substantial piece, you know, like I love that Endgame cap, but just suit wise, I like the Star Spangled Man version of the suit better. Although, you know, like you can't have the Star Spangled Man version without getting, you know, all the way to Endgame, right? Like you need that original suit to be able to get to where the Endgame suit's at now, you know what I mean? But let's toss him on the shelf next to the Star Spangled Man's last figure comparison and his shelf location for the time being, and we'll showcase the newest Captain America suit next to the oldest. Oh, right. That wingspan on Sam Wilson is quite ridiculous, but we do have the two Captain America side by side, and you have the young, if you would, young Steve Rogers and his first suit, and the most recent Captain America from Captain America Brave New World. And if you guys haven't seen this unboxing video, this character in this figure unboxing is out on the channel yesterday, so go check that out. And I have some other Captain America unboxings on the channel as well if you want to go check out the Endgame cap and the Avengers 2012 cap, along with maybe Falcon from the Falcon and Winter Soldier. And, you know, there's all types of stuff. Also Avengers, Thor, Loki, some Spider-Mans, Deadpool, some characters up here that we don't know if they're going to be returning or not. So, you know, Kate Bishop over there. We got Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, Vision, Shang-Chi. And then back over here, we got Hulk in the background there with Gladiator Thor, Gladiator Hulk, Sakaar, Stan Lee. You got, sneaking in there, a little bit of Ronin Hawkeye, Bro Thor, and Tony from Endgame. Looking great. Love that figure. But yeah, my most two recent figure unboxings. Stay tuned for more unboxings in the future. Next week is some DC characters with the release of Superman coming out, which is going to be very exciting. And I can't wait to get my hands on the Hot Toys Red Hulk to go with that Captain America Sam Wilson. And I can't wait to get my hands on that Hot Toys Superman when that releases, and many Hot Toys unboxings to come in the future. But stay tuned, y'all. And once again, my name is Big Cam. Thank you guys all for coming on by. And if you've made it this far in the video, please consider dropping a like on this video, subscribing if you haven't already, dropping a comment, you know, sharing this video with a friend, hitting that bell button so you don't miss future unboxings and you get the notifications when they come out. Those are all great ways to support the channel and get the videos out into the algorithm, and I really appreciate you guys. But once again, my name is Big Cam, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace.